move on up until this is settled. You all owe me an apology. But what we are not aware of is that we can forgive without the offenders asking for apology, asking for us to forgive them. They don't have to ask for an apology, but our hearts and our minds are fixated on the fact that if someone has offended me, they must ask for forgiveness. They owe me at least that. You'd hear someone say, look at this guy, he's moving on as if he did nothing. This guy at least owes me an apology, and he did nothing to apologize. And our lives get ruined. Our lives get suffocated because we feel that someone owes us. And I want to challenge you to say, you don't have to be paid. You can forgive. You can choose to cancel the debt and say, no one owes me anything. Lastly, as I make an attempt to define what forgiveness is, forgiveness also means to excuse the error, to excuse the ignorance and the folly of someone. And by and large, this is because many times, or at times when people offend you, it's simply because they're ignorant of how you feel if they do something. And at times, because we are the ones who have been offended, we punish them as if they knew how we're going to feel. Not every time will people know, unless someone was being spiteful, unless someone did that intentionally, and that's exactly what they wanted to produce out of you, a feeling of anger, a feeling of pain, a feeling of suffering. But in general, when people offend us or have offended us, it is because they are ignorant. They did not know that if they did something, you'd react in a specific way. If they did something, you would feel a particular way. And many times that we find ourselves also being offended at people who intended to do good, but maybe their good was not communicated or performed in a way that would make us happy or convinced that they intended to do good. And what then happens is that we become upset with them. So I'm basically saying to us that when we are hurt, when we are in pain, we also need to acknowledge that it's highly possible that someone offended us, not because they wanted us to feel bad. They were just ignorant. They just did not know that we would be offended. And at times it is because of their folly. People out of their stupidity, because people can be stupid, all of us can be stupid. I can be stupid, anyone. There's no one who's exempt from being stupid. We all have our moomish moments in life, and in those moomish moments we find ourselves having hurt people we love, having pained people we love. So forgiveness means to excuse the ignorance and also the folly of someone. We need to be willing to do that. But moving on, I want us to get to about 6 points on forgiveness. Lesson one on forgiveness is that forgiveness is an intentional decision to let go of resentment and anger. In other words, you decide and you become intentional. When someone has offended you ought to be intent on forgive them. You can't forgive without intent. And so it is in life. Anything that was done in life, whether big or bad, whether big or small, good or bad, there was intent. So you also need to have the intent to forgive. For an example, if you don't forgive someone, you are intent on it. I will not forgive this person. I will not forgive such actions. This I won't tolerate. This I won't accept. This is not cool with me. You are intent on it. Maybe it's about time that you become intent on forgiving and make that decision to let go of resentment, to let go of anger. It doesn't benefit us in any way when we are always upset, resentful towards people. The act that hurt us may stay with us for some time after having let go of resentment, of the anger. It might stay with us. The act that offended us might stay with us. But working on it, working on forgiveness, will lessen the load, will lessen the hold it has on us. In other words, I'm not doing myself a favor if I choose not to let go of resentment, if I choose not to let go of anger, of pain. In fact, whoever caused me the pain, many times, they are wherever they are and their happy life is moved on for them, but the offense stays with me and all its emotions. I stay upset. My resentment gets built on over and over and over and again, and to an extent that I become resentful even to innocent people, resentful even to people who know nothing of the offense that was committed to me. So let go and be intentional about it. You must be intent on it. Number 2, forgiveness is an intentional effort. Now you put out your energies to it and say, I am going to work on it. It won't happen overnight. You work on it. So it is an effort that you put out on a day-to-day basis. You put out when you've been offended by someone. You put in the effort. Many times we expect people who have offended us to be the ones that put in the effort to say, please forgive me, to say I'm sorry. But you find that they put in that effort, but we don't put in the effort to forgive them. It's pointless if someone puts on the effort to apologize, but we don't put on the effort. We don't put in the effort to forgive them. So you need to put in the effort as well. Thirdly, forgiveness liberates the offender. Yes. Forgiveness liberates the offender. But not only does it liberate the offender, it also liberates you who was offended. In other words, when you forgive someone, you are saying that they don't have to live with the guilt, with the shame of having offended you the rest of their lives. But you are also saying, equally so, you are not going to spend the rest of your life on the negative emotions, vested on the negative emotions that were produced by the act that was committed to you by the offender. So many times, people don't want to forgive someone because they feel that they were belittled, they feel that they were undermined, and they feel that the offense was too big. While you might be justified in feeling that way, but the longer you rest on that thinking, the longer your hurt exists, the longer your pain stays. So to liberate yourself from it, you need to be at a point where you then say, I'm liberating this person, I am forgiving them, so that I can have my joy back, so that I can have my laughter back, so that my life can be normal again, so that I can focus on what matters. Many times when you are hurt, even the simple duties that we are supposed to fulfill, we can't fulfill them because we are so much focused on that emotion, on that action that was committed toward us. So anger, resentment can cause us to be non-functional. You won't be the lover you're supposed to be. You won't be the husband you're supposed to be, the wife you're supposed to be, the person you're supposed to be. Why? Because you are vested on negative emotions that are produced or that were produced by the action that was committed to you by the offender. Lesson 4 is that forgiveness must be unconditional. Because if it's not unconditional, life is going to be difficult for you. Because once you set a condition on forgiveness, the big question that you need to ask yourself is, what happens if the conditions of the forgiveness are not met? And let me give an answer to that. It means that you are going to relive the emotions, the negative emotions. It means that you are going to get stuck on those emotions because the conditions of your forgiveness have not been met. So once you set conditions, you are also implying that the person you are forgiving is not human. Let me tell you this and be open with you. People can offend you with the same thing for the next 5 years. I'm sure that those who are staying with their partners, those who are staying with their husbands and their wives, there is that one thing that your partner does that offends you so much. But you've learned to live with it. That's what forgiveness does. Forgiveness, unconditional forgiveness, enables you to learn to live with someone's weakness. Accept them for who they are. Know that let's isidomjane sami lesi isiqhwala sami lesi lo inkinga yami le, and uphile ube normal, ube okay, no ukuthi ayishem isithando sami ingadi akayenzi. Thola ukuthi ngalo isikhathi leso you are so offended at how the yard looks because your husband, he just does not want to do the garden, but you love them.